Okay, so there's this story blowing up online about a potential $2,000 check for seniors. A video making some very specific claims has gone viral, saying this money was all secretly approved. So today we're going to do what we do best. We're going to break down the story from that source, piece by piece, to get a handle on exactly what's being claimed and what it all supposedly means.
So the story kicks off with some serious late-night drama. We're talking 2 a.m., when pretty much everyone is asleep. The source video says this was the moment that all the speculation supposedly ended and a new policy was quietly given the green light. But this wasn't some big, flashy press conference. Nope. This was supposedly a silent, internal signal, and that detail really sets the stage for a story all about backroom decisions. And here it is. This is the number at the very heart of this entire claim: $2,000. That's the amount the source insists has been approved as a tariff rebate. It's a big number, for sure, and it's the anchor for every other detail we're about to get into, from who qualifies to who supposedly gets paid first.
So, how did this supposed approval even happen? Well, the source says it all came down to internal Treasury notifications. Now, you gotta understand, that's a really critical detail, because it's meant to tell you that this isn't just another political promise. The claim here is that it's a done deal, and that the wheels are already turning inside the government, even if you and I haven't gotten the official memo yet. Okay, so to really unpack all this, we're going to look at 4 key areas. First up, this supposed shift in priority towards seniors. Then we'll get into the program's mechanics. After that, the really important part, qualification and timelines. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways for seniors.
So let's start with the biggest question. Why the sudden, intense focus on seniors? The video argues that this isn't just about a one-time check. It's about a fundamental change in who gets helped first. The claim is that low-income seniors have been deliberately moved right to the front of the line. But why now?
This slide really paints the before and after picture, according to the source. So on the one hand, you had the original plan, where seniors were kind of just another group in the mix. But on the other hand, this revised plan allegedly puts them front and center. A whole new high-priority list was created, and they're supposedly right at the top. The video really presents this as a complete 180, not just some small adjustment. This one sentence, right here. This is presented as the reason for the entire shift. The source attributes this powerful idea to a senior economic advisor, framing it as the moral argument that just changed everything. I mean, it's a simple idea, but it's powerful, right? The people who are struggling the most shouldn't have to wait the longest. And according to the video, that's the very sentiment that fast-tracked this whole new structure. But it wasn't just about feelings, you know? The source claims this was about cold, hard data. Apparently, internal reports were showing that inflation was just hammering seniors on fixed incomes. I mean, think about it. While other people might see their wages go up a bit to keep pace, seniors' income pretty much stays the same. The video argues this data was so alarming that it forced officials to relabel this whole issue as an urgent, top-tier priority. So if this was all so urgent, how could the government pivot so quickly? Well, that brings us to the program's mechanics. And the key, according to the source, is that this is not another stimulus check. That distinction is apparently everything. The way it's explained is kind of like this. The government has a big pot of money where it collects taxes on imported goods. Those are tariffs. The argument is that when that pot gets too full, the government can decide to give some of that surplus money back to the people. That's a tariff rebate. It's completely different from a stimulus check, which is more like the government creating brand new money that has to get approved by Congress. And that is the key to the whole claim, because that money supposedly already exists in the pot. The Treasury Department doesn't have to wait for a new law to get passed. Once the executive branch finalizes the rules for who gets the money, which is what that whole 2 a.m. approval was supposedly about, they can just start the process. This is why the video presents it as a done deal, not just some proposal floating around.
Okay, so how is this senior's first idea actually put into action? The source claims they created this 3-tiered system. You can think of Tier 1 as the express lane, and that's exactly where low-income seniors were allegedly placed. Tier 2 is more like the standard lane, for a lot of working households. And then Tier 3 is for more complex cases that just need a closer look. This structure is the supposed engine that makes the whole policy work.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Who exactly qualifies for this priority treatment, and what does the timeline supposedly look like? The video gets super specific here with the numbers, so let's break them down. The first number you need to know is this one, around $30,000 a year.
The source claims that if your household income falls below this line, you're considered a really strong candidate for early approval, but it also stresses that it's no longer just about how much you make, it's about how stable or, unstable that income is. Now, drilling down even further, the video points to a specific monthly Social Security amount. If you receive less than about $1,300 a month, you're reportedly considered highly vulnerable. This is seen as the point where inflation stops being just an annoyance and starts becoming a real crisis, which makes this group a major focus. And for those in the toughest spots, there's another, even lower number. The source claims that anyone receiving under $1,100 a month has been moved into what it calls the highest priority lane within Tier 1 itself. These are supposedly the people feeling that financial squeeze the most, and they are at the absolute front of the line. So who are these prioritized groups exactly? Well, first, anyone getting Social Security, SSI, or SSDI is flagged. Second, the source mentions something called Fast Verify households. Basically, these are people whose info, like their income, address, and bank details, is already neatly on file with the government, which makes them super easy to process. And interestingly, it claims that even seniors who file zero income tax returns, who might have been delayed in the past, could be fast-tracked this time using their Social Security data instead.
So what does all this mean for the timeline? Well, think of it like this. You know when you get a notification that your package has shipped even before it actually shows up at your door? The source suggests seniors in Tier 1 might see an approved status appear in their official online accounts long before any money is actually sent. It's a two-step process: approval, then payment. And the claim is that they're first in line for both. Okay, with all of this information swirling around, what are you supposed to actually do? The video lays out some pretty clear advice, so let's run through these key takeaways.
First, let's cover what you don't need to do, because this is important. The video is really clear about this. There is no application. The whole process is described as automatic. You also don't need to worry about this payment lowering your existing benefits. It's a rebate, not income. And finally, it won't trigger an audit. It's presented as a totally separate one-time payment.
But there are a few things the video says you really should do. Number one, and this is the most critical part, make sure your mailing address and direct deposit information are totally up to date with both the Social Security Administration and the IRS. Also, keep an eye on your official online accounts, see if any alerts pop up, and of course, anytime there's news about money, you have to be vigilant and on high alert for scams.
Now, this is a super important slide because it helps you spot a potential scam. Let's be really clear. The government will not call, text, or email you out of the blue asking for your Social Security number or bank info. They will never ask you to pay a fee to get your own money, and they will not threaten your benefits. What they might do is post a secure alert inside your official online account or send you an official letter in the mail. Knowing that difference is your best defense, period.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It captures the entire narrative of the source video. The core message isn't just about a check, it's a story about a fundamental shift in priorities, a story about recognition.
So after breaking down this entire claim, from the late-night decision to the data-driven reasoning and this new priority system, we're left with this question. The video lays out a detailed, compelling story of internal memos and secret approvals. But the real test, the only thing that actually matters in the end, is when, or maybe if, this behind-the-scenes drama ever steps out into the public spotlight. For now, it's a powerful story, but the final chapter, well, that has yet to be written.